Hi everyone. Today I'm going to take you through the case study of Tropicana on redesigning their packaging. This drastic change in packaging that caused a sharp drop in sales, forcing the company to a sudden U-turn. Tropicana restyling, or one of the most interesting cases of packaging transformation without a happy ending. Nonetheless, this example demonstrates once again how packaging and design are instrumental to the success of a product. Now, before moving to this case study, I would request everyone watching this video to subscribe 5 Minutes Learning channel in YouTube in order to get my recent case study video updates on time. Also, this video is enabled with English subtitles for your better understanding. Now, let's move to the case study. Tropicana was the largest orange juice brand on the market when PepsiCo purchased the product line from Seagram Company Limited in 1998. PepsiCo felt Tropicana was a superb addition to its beverage portfolio, competing with and surpassing Coke's Minute Maid orange juice brands. Further, while orange juice margins were thinner than those of the soft drinks, sales of orange juice products were expanding at a much faster rate of 8% than the soft drink beverage business because of the growing awareness among adults of the health benefits of orange juice. At the time of acquisition, Tropicana's 42% orange juice market share dwarfed the 24% share owned by Coke's Minute Maid orange juice brand. However, in 2001, Coca-Cola responded by launching a new premium orange juice line called Simply Orange. By 2006, Tropicana found its market share dropping steadily from 42% in 2006 to 33.6% in 2009, while that of Simply Orange grew from 8.1% to 14.8% during the same time period. It was clear that Coca-Cola's focus on the fresh squeezed orange juice experience of Simply Orange was resonating with consumers, and Tropicana needed to react. The iconic orange and straw graphic was predated PepsiCo's purchase of the Tropicana brand, and it was originally conceptualized as a part of Pixar's first animated television commercial produced for Tropicana in the year 1989, when the Coleman Group incorporated the straw in an orange graphic into the Tropicana's juice carton in 1997. Mr. Jonathan Asher, Vice President, said that they recognized they could strengthen the brand franchisee by building on the existing design equities and create a more distinctive and ownable brand identity. On January 8, 2009, PepsiCo announced a package redesign and accompanying new marketing campaign for the Tropicana product line. Research showed Tropicana that about half of the consumers thought orange juice contained added sugar, and brand managers felt that the fact that Tropicana was pure, natural, and 100% squeezed from fresh oranges needed to be highlighted. Tropicana president Neil Campbell said that they wanted to create an emotional attachment by heroing the juice and trumpeting the natural fruit benefits. The redesign was spearheaded by the Arnell Group, and in a press conference launching the new packaging, Peter Arnell said that the agency wanted to leverage the biggest single billboard available, which is the product's package. Tropicana packaging had never shown the inside of the orange, and designers felt that they could better emphasize the purity of the juice by displaying the juice itself. Arnell also explained they no longer wanted to work with the assets or parts that were not clear to the consumer. They might have identified with the orange and straw on the old packaging, but no one knew why it was there. According to Arnell, the design team was instructed to use design language that was clear, simple, and profound. Thus, the words 100% orange, pure, and natural were positioned front and center of the carton, Additionally, the carton's new cap was designed to mimic the outside of an orange, both in appearance and texture, and the designer felt opening it implied the squeezing of an orange ergonomically. Arnold explained that in keeping with the theme of Tropicana's new $35 million advertising campaign, the new package design drew on the power of love through a squeeze or hug. The new package design hit the shelves in early January, and consumer response was immediate, calling the new design as ugly, stupid, and resembling a generic bargain brand. Internet bloggers were particularly vocal in their online postings about the new packaging, nothing that a large, juicy, fresh orange with a straw stuck right into it screamed freshness, while the new box looked like a no-name brand orange juice made out of concentrate. Not everyone agreed that Tropicana's new package design was a disaster, because Brandwick's Mr. Wasserman felt that Tropicana's redesign was terrific and that making the carton look like a private label brand was a brilliant strategy to reinforce the idea of value in a tough economy. Tropicana's president, Mr. Neil Campbell, was lost in thoughts. Had Tropicana made a major mistake in changing its package design? In an interview just a few weeks before the new packaging, he had commented that the straw and the orange have been there for a long time, but people have not necessarily had a huge connection to them. However, it appeared that Tropicana had underestimated the emotional response to the disappearance of the old design. He also noted that what we didn't get was the passion this very loyal small group of consumers have. That wasn't something that came out in the research. Campbell realized that with the internet and social media, consumers can communicate with marketeers more easily and quickly than ever before. In the 6 weeks the new packaging had been on store shelves, consumers had been able to declare their opposition in a manner impossible before the internet. However, he wondered, was this simply a case of a small but vocal minority of consumers expressing their negative attitude towards the new packaging through the easy availability of social media? Or was there really something more fundamentally wrong with the new packaging? He wondered what to do next. The company had invested $35 million in the new package design and new advertising campaign, which featured shots of the new packaging. However, initial sales figure appeared to be declining, not rising. Should Tropicana move forward with their existing advertising plans and press on with the new packaging, assuming consumers would grow to like it? Or should they try to tweak the new redesign in some fashion? Or should they scrap the new package redesign completely, returning to the old straw in the orange theme? Let's see. The Tropicana logo font has been thinned out and shrunk, which would not necessarily be a problem in itself. The big oversight was making the orientation vertical. When we are in the supermarket choosing products, it is difficult to correctly read writing perpendicular to our visual angle, unless we have the articulated neck of a flamingo. The logo must be legible and prominent regardless of other choices such as font and color, which however in this case had been preserved fairly well. The distinctive element for Tropicana juice packaging was the central orange skewered by the straw. Of course, one could argue that it wasn't tremendously original or innovative, but it worked at a glance for memorability. The unmistakable item had been replaced by a glass of orange juice, not immediately recognizable, positioned not in front of the observer, but printed in an extended format on two sides. The result was that if you didn't look at it from the right perspective, The image was reduced to an indistinct spot of color. Of course, for once they wanted to portray the real product, therefore the juice and not the raw material, but the visual impact was low and the realization was cumbersome. On the previous Tropicana juice package, the wording "no pulp" stood out. Evidently, for a large portion of consumers, the fact that the juice was velvety and did not contain fruit strands was a decisive factor for the purchase. This information, which was previously highly distinctive, was made secondary and hardly visible. You need to keep in mind what are the data influencing the choice of final buyers and highlight them correctly. A very nice design, which in this case had been obtained, can do nothing against the functionality. The life of the buyer was made more difficult by the lack of clarity in the principal design elements. The orange that we reference at point had been moved to the cap on top, taking on its shape and appearance. Let's ponder for a moment though. Does a highly functional element need to be modified with such a complex shape and texture as that of real orange? The answer is no. Plus production costs have skyrocketed. Tropicana's restyling, despite involving an investment of $35 million, was conducted and finalized without subjecting any design alterations to the judgment of reference consumers. In fact, there was no prior knowledge of what worked in the old layout nor how the restyling would resonate with buyers. A serious mistake considering the focus groups can be easily conducted both in presence and through a simple online survey. The ratio between cost and benefit of such an operation leans decisively in favor of the pros. Perhaps the problem goes beyond emotional bond consumers had with the old packaging. It is very important to consider the role of packaging design in branding and its link with merchandising. Young Ankumo in an article stated that packaging redesigns often come with a small decrease in sales, but this tends to be a temporary one and has never been as severe as the 20% decrease in sales which was experienced by Tropicana. In this case, many consumers didn't recognize the product on supermarket shelves. Some loyal consumers saw the 100% orange juice and asked themselves if the product was still the same as the Tropicana Pure Premium that they always trusted. Then appeared a series of confusion in consumers' mind who lost their main reference element to recognize the product, which includes the orange with the straw, the original logo, and the focus on 100% orange instead of pure premium. First, consumer feels an emotional bond with the appearance of the product and brand they love. Consumers have an emotional connection with the brands they purchase and can feel betrayed and disappointed if they suddenly can no longer identify with the new brand elements of the packaging design. It is important to always consider this factor before making changes to packaging design. Second, branding elements on packaging cannot all be changed at once. Tropicana, while trying to modernize the brand, they didn't respect one of the most important branding rules any company should consider, which is the product identification and recognition by the consumer. Tropicana changed too many brand elements, which confused the consumers on the moment they wanted to purchase an orange juice. They changed a new logo, a new typography, new slogan, new image, and a new lid. If you want to redesign your product's packaging, make sure you do not change everything at once. The changes need to be done progressively to ensure the consumer will still recognize the brand. Of course, this only applies to successful brands such as Tropicana. If your brand and products are not doing well, a total rebrand can be a good solution to save the product on the market. Third, packaging is the silent salesman. Packaging is the last communication element brands have with consumers in the purchasing decision process. Its design and content are essential to the brand because it will influence the consumer's decision at the last minute. Tropicana's consumers didn't recognize or like the new product design, and therefore they decided not to purchase it. Finally, advertising and packaging design have different communication rules. Advertising and packaging design are very different communication tools. Through advertising, companies have more time and support to communicate emotions and new values. The mission of advertising is to inform and communicate sensations that will last in the long term. It is a more flexible communication support over time. Through packaging design, companies need to communicate in a more direct, clear, and identifiable manner as the consumer is about to make its final purchase decision. Of course, packaging and advertising strategies should always be in line as with any marketing activity in general. However, there are some communication codes for each domain that need to be respected. In this case of Tropicana, the packaging codes weren't, and this caused the failure of the new design. So on February 23rd, 2009, Tropicana announced that it would return to its original packaging design, and within a few months, the old packaging was back on all supermarket shelves. Meanwhile, Tropicana's competitor took advantage of this Tropicana crisis and gained the sales lost by the fruit juice brands. In total, this initiative cost Tropicana more than $50 million. The Tropicana redesign illustrated that the considerable power of packaging. While this was a distinctively negative example, it's important to keep in mind that this same power does often work in a positive direction. Tropicana restyling helped us understand the essential laws of packaging design. Particular emphasis should be placed on the testing phase. The takeaway for marketeers and brand strategists should be even greater respect for packaging and a deeper commitment to leveraging this brand asset with a methodical procedure. This will ensure consumers accept the change in a positive manner. Thank you everyone for watching this video. See you soon with another interesting case study. For more such case studies, please subscribe 5 Minutes Learning channel in YouTube.